Let's start with two universal truths that we believe everyone familiar with used vehicle sales will agree with. Truth number one, the best outcomes occur when dealers optimize between turn and gross. And truth number two, the passing of time will diminish a vehicle's profit potential. Now, we'll come back to that second truth in a bit, but let's dive deeper into that first truth. The best outcomes occur when dealers optimize between turn and gross. And to do this, let's use the analogy of a seesaw, balanced on a fulcrum. Turn sitting on one side, gross sitting on the other. When one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. And in the fulcrum, you'll see a calendar, because days in inventory is traditionally how we've managed the balance. Now, historically, I think we can all agree the seesaw looked like this. Dealers put the emphasis on gross, pushing gross up high at the expense of turn. But then this guy Del Pollock comes along with a crazy idea. The idea was that if you flip that emphasis and do it with discipline, really pushing up on turn, something interesting happens. Other factors come into play, and the one-for-one trade-off is broken. Pushing turn up high enough, consistently enough, can actually increase gross as well. Well, total gross, that is. An important part of this idea was recognizing that total gross is the true endgame, and then it can rise even as average gross dips. And this is where we were for a good run. Velocity had proven itself, and the industry accepted the norm that total gross was what should be focused on. That is, until it wasn't. As the trend of margin compression increased, there was some loss of equilibrium. It's become clear that there is a point at which average gross can dip too low and begin to pull down total gross in a way that more turn cannot overcome. Around mid-2017, Dale began to recognize this condition and, as you might imagine, began obsessing about finding a solution. And one day, a thought occurred to him, which became the seed of what we're going to share with you today. That thought prompted an examination of truth number two. The truth that time diminishes a vehicle's profit potential. And to examine this truth, let's use the metaphor of ripeness. So imagine a banana. We can all understand the ripeness of a banana, that it goes through stages over time. On day one, it's a green banana, full of potential with lots of time ahead. A few days pass, and you have a yellow banana. It doesn't have all the time in the world, but it's great. But a few more days go by, and then you have a brown banana. I mean, this is not great. Its time is running out, and it may have already passed. If you were selling it, you'd have to give it a heavy discount or expect to throw it out soon. Because when a few more days pass, things get ugly. You've got a black banana, and you've got to get rid of it because it stinks. Okay, you see where this is going, right? In some ways, cars are like bananas. Profit potential, like ripeness, will diminish over time. But unfortunately, cars aren't exactly like bananas. Unfortunately, our challenge is a bit more complex. For one thing, while most bananas age pretty consistently, different cars can age at very different rates from each other. So imagine two cars, shown here on day one, with their profit potential high, represented as a green banana. By day 15 in your inventory, the profit potential of both cars might decrease a bit. Here, let's represent that as both cars being yellow bananas. But by day 30, it's not uncommon for one vehicle to hold its potential a lot longer than the other. Here, the first car is holding strong, while the second has become a brown banana. And by day 45, the factors that make the first car a high potential vehicle still remain high. It stays yellow. While car number 2 has dropped off the table. It's a gooey black banana on your lot, and it's got to go. So what does saying that these cars are both at day 45 tell you about each one's profit potential? Nothing. Day 45 tells you nothing. But hold that thought. There's another way the car challenge is more complex. With cars, you're not always working with a green banana on day 1. Brown, yellow, green. Vehicles can be at any stage when you take them in. You might even take home a black banana on day 1. Maybe by accident, but maybe on purpose. Maybe you choose to buy a black banana to close another deal. And if that's the case, what is saying that this car is on day 1 telling you about the profit potential of that investment? The answer is nothing. The calendar tells you nothing. Do you see the problem? In both of these scenarios, and many more scenarios throughout the industry, the calendar is the problem. The calendar is an old and crude form of technology, and it tells us nothing about the value of these investments. It's a flawed way of thinking about it, left over from a different time. We may believe it without even questioning it, but we have got to realize calendar time does not equal profit potential. But how can we know the profit potential of any given vehicle on any given day? Wouldn't it be nice if every vehicle clearly signaled its own profit potential in real time? Signal it in a way like, I don't know, a banana? Well, it wouldn't just be nice. It's here, and it works. Introducing Provision Profit Time. Profit time is a new method of management. It's a shift in focus from the number of days you hold a vehicle to the profit potential each vehicle holds. And profit time is a new metric in provision. It's a leading indicator that's proven to have a strong correlation with real outcomes in the marketplace. So, about that margin compression challenge, the one that was pulling the velocity V out of balance, the answer is to stop making decisions with the calendar and start making them with profit time, optimizing margins on every vehicle, raising average gross, and bringing balance back to velocity. For dealers who are ready, it's time to ditch the calendar. It's time to optimize both turn and gross. Profit time. It's time to make money.